Yo, it's your boy Marcus, aka Just One Marcus on the Just One channel. So this man, Damian Lillard, Dame, and I think his exit interview for the Trailblazers put out a bunch of statements recently. One saying that he expects them to re-sign Jerami Grant and he does not want to wait for guys who are 2 years away, kind of throwing shade at Simons, I guess, and also definitely Shaedon Sharpe. So he wants the team to make moves now to get guys who are ready to compete. Then I think today or yesterday, he also said that it's up to the organization if they want to tank or like build around young guys rather than like keep him around and try to win with him. But I doubt they trade Damian anytime soon, as they already missed their opportunity to sell on him at his highest value. So we are in start today, and for today's video we are doing a win now Portland Trailblazers rebuild where we're going to try to win within 3 years to get Portland and Dame a championship. So let's see who wins this first year of the 2023 playoffs. If you watched my simming the playoffs 100 times, the Hawks win it. That's not really a big surprise. One thing I just wanted to mention, so my OBS settings that I use all the time, for whatever reason I started recording, trying to record like half an hour ago, and it just didn't work. Like it would work for a couple minutes, then just like all the stats would go off the roof and go in the red. It's been fine so far, so hopefully it is good for the rest of this video and there's no problems with like the viewing experience. This 2023 draft lottery for the Blazers is going to be huge, because if they can get a top pick, they said if they don't get the #1 overall pick, they're probably going to trade it to like pair a guy around Dame. So let's see where we end up here, and we actually fall to 4. So we're definitely gonna trade that pick per Dame's request, which is like the whole vibe or like concept of this video. I wanted to just throw Anthony and pick 4 in the trade finder to see what comes up, and the only offer we get is from the Pelicans to get CJ back. We are definitely not doing that. Because the Raptors were just eliminated from the playoffs in the play-in, there's a lot of rumors going around about a Pascal Siakam trade. He does have 1 year left on his deal though, so I did see some Portland fans saying like they'd be skeptical about trading like a bunch of assets for him. Aside from that Pascal trade though, I think a Karl Anthony Towns trade would be pretty interesting, because no one's gonna want to trade for Rudy Gobert now, and pretty much the only way that Minnesota can like revive their team around Anthony Edwards and Jaden McDaniels once he gets healed, same with maybe Naz Reid, is trading off of Cat probably, and then Mike Conley. I think his value is probably going to shoot down after this season because he is like 36 years old. This is the package I'm going to try to do. Anthony Simons, Jabari Walker, young guy we got to get off the team, and 2 firsts, not giving up our 4th overall pick though for Karl Anthony Towns and Kyle Anderson. You could argue this is kind of a fleece on their or on our end, because we're getting a guy in Cat and they're getting back Anthony Simons, who's young and hasn't really accomplished anything significant in the league yet. But we are giving them another young piece to pair with their guys and potentially work out in their core for the future, and taking a expiring guy in Kyle Anderson who's getting old as well. So let's see if they do this, and if they don't, I add on another 1st round pick. They don't agree to it. So what about 3 firsts for Anthony Simons and this the young guys and picks for Cat and Kyle Anderson? They still don't agree. So I will do this with the 4th overall pick then. I think it's going to be extremely worth it to pair a guy with Cat, with Dame, Jerami Grant, and then some other guys we can get potentially in the future. They still don't agree to it, so maybe now I add the young pieces on like Jabari Walker and some other picks. Let's add our 22nd overall pick on there as well. They still don't agree. So yeah, they obviously value Cat very heavily, and they're probably going to want a lot, and that gets it done. So we end up having to give up 3 firsts for it, the 4th overall pick, and then a late first, and then 1 future first, plus Jabari Walker, who's like a really low overall right now, and Anthony Simons. But to get Cat and Kyle Anderson as a depth piece, I feel like is worth it. I can't find any more trades yet that I like for maybe Nurkic and Shaedon Sharpe, so I have a 2nd round pick right now. Maybe I can pick up a guy there who will have higher value than like half a star. Here's what the top 7 of the draft look like. My Raptors actually jumped up to 3, so that'd be huge for us. I ended up picking up Colby Jones here, who should end up progressing enough where he'll have more value to use in a trade. I will accept pretty much, actually not the 2-way guys here. I will accept everyone else though to potentially use in trades as well. Team player options or qualifying offers, I'm going to give it to Thibault and Reddish. I do need some backup point guard depth, so I'm going to bring in guys like DiVincenzo and some other like somewhat proven guys who are reliable on somewhat ends of the floor to fill those roles. We obviously have to bring Jerami Grant back like Dame asked, and I feel like he's going to want at least like 20 mil a year, so I'm going to give him that backloaded. And both DiVincenzo and Grant agree to those deals. Now we're going to bring Reddish and Thibault back. Then once most of free agency wraps, I'll I'll probably look to use one or both of them in a trade. Okay, I just looked through a couple trade scenarios and there's not really anything I like yet. So our roster is nowhere near set to where I want it to be. This is just what the player progression looks like so far. Like a lot of these guys are probably going to be gone very soon. I'm going to start the next season and then take one more look before I solidify the roster to fully go into this. All right, I know in this first sim, the Hawks won the championship, but realistically in real life, they're probably not gonna win the championship this year. So going off of that in mind, I feel like the Hawks getting off of DeJounte in the last year of his deal, then Clint Capella for Shaedon Sharpe would be a huge move by them, especially because Trey right now is only 25. So by the time Shaedon's like what, 23, 25, like that 23, 25 range, Trey will be like in his prime, ready to compete with these pieces. Like maybe Cam Reddish ends up working out for them again. Then Nurkic can be just kind of like a filler center for them there as they progress with Okongwu. Obviously in real life, Shaedon Sharpe would be worth way more than this, but it's 2K and they don't value him as much. So I feel like this is a fair trade and it helps us a lot to win now, which is what the concept of this video or the point of this video is. So I'm going to do this trade with the Hawks before we go start the next season. Here's the 9-man lineup we're going to run out in this first year. Dame at the 1, Murray at the 2, Grant at the 3, Cat at the 4 with Capella at the 5. I feel like these two in the front court are going to be absolutely nasty. Then off the bench we have Kyle Anderson to play, make, rebound, do all that stuff. DiVincenzo, play good defense, knock down some shots. Nas Little going to give him a chance there to see what he can do still. And then Thibault to round it off. At the trade deadline, Thibault and some of these other younger pieces here, potentially even Nas Little or DiVincenzo, like anyone who's playing bad is on the trade block to make this team better. Our best system under Chauncey right now is 4-star 7 seconds, so we're just going to run that out and see how it works. Let's sim to the trade deadline and see if those win now moves are working out for us. By the way, I forgot to mention I am running injuries on this, and as I say that it pops up. So I'm trying to do like these more realistic style rebuilds by adding injuries but playing around with the settings so they're more realistic. And Cat at the start of this past season gets injured, and now at the start of this season he gets injured again. We started off 5-1 before Cat got injured, so I feel like our record's definitely gonna get worse, but hopefully by the time he comes back it like all works out still. Okay, we're about to be at the trade deadline. There's been so many like tic-tac injuries that I thought I had made the settings to prevent that, and I don't really know how I can change. Like that's what always would happen, so that's why I would not put injuries on. And even still adjusting it more how I did, it didn't fix it. So this injury is gonna be fine. Like I'll let it heal out, and whatever injuries are there I will now, but going post trade deadline I will turn injuries off if I'm able to. We're 40-15 right now though, which is good enough for first in the West, but we're the 4th best team in the league. Everyone here is playing pretty well except for Watford, so I think what I'm gonna try to do is move Watford, Jones, and maybe Kevin Knox and some or other young pieces to get a backup big. I just looked around the whole league to see who would have the best backup big that I could potentially go for, and the Raptors, who are rebuilding and have a bunch of center depth now, I feel like would give up Precious Achiuwa for some more young assets. Right now I think this is the best offer I can give them. Watford, Knox, Keon Johnson, the 1st and 2 seconds for Precious and some other role bench guys to make the money work. Wow, they actually agreed to it. I was not expecting that, but we will take it. So our lineup right now looks kind of weird because like you saw, DeJounte and Capella are injured right now, but in a couple weeks this lineup will, I think, be fully ready going to the playoffs to go for a championship run. First season is about to wrap and we get 60 wins on the season. 60-21, best team in the West, 2nd best team in the league, 1 game left against the Clippers, and we win it. So 61-21. Trey MVP, that's pretty crazy to see. Wemby Rookie of the Year, Wall 6-man on Dallas, Claxton Depoy, Garland Most Improved, and we surprisingly don't get Coach of the Year. Honestly, can I like, okay, it won't let me override it. I was gonna override it for Chauncey there. We better get some All-NBA guys here for that type of a season, and we surprisingly don't get any All-NBA guys. Do we get any All-Defensive guys? I don't see any All-Defensive guys either, so that's pretty disrespectful. Dame still leads the way in scoring, putting up 22, 4, and 8 with a steal a night, shooting 50, 45, almost 90, so that's a pretty great year from him. 22, 8, and 5 with a steal and almost a block, shooting 50, almost 40, 90 for Cat. Huge pickup for us. DeJounte had a very good season as well. 21 points, 5 boards, 6 assists, 2 steals, shooting almost 50, 40, 86. Jeremy Grant brought him back. He had kind of a down shooting year from 3, but overall he still played really well all around, giving us 18 points. Capella, our new starting center, gives us a 11-point double-double, like 11 points, 11 boards pretty much, with a steal and almost a block a night, shooting pretty efficiently from the field. DiVincenzo off the bench gave us 11 points and shot very efficiently. Love to see that. Precious came in for us. I might take away his 3-point shot tendency going into the playoffs because like his rating is I think really low. He's a D, so he shouldn't really be shooting those. Kyle Anderson still played pretty solid as a role guy for us, even though he's 30 years old now. Nas Little also had an improvement year from 3 and from the line shooting wise, so he's still progressing well for us. And then Thibault also played some important minutes for us. He didn't shoot the best from 3, but he is giving us pretty good defense. Like per 36, 2 steals and a block is worth it if you're giving up some shooting. We are obviously the 1 seed this year. Can we start this off or like get this rebuild done in 1 year, as we have the Mavericks in the first round? We still have Luka and Kyrie. They brought in Bojan Bogdanovic, 80 overall, then 77 DFS and 82 Christian Wood. We have the full potential of our lineup going into this, so I feel much more confident probably than they do. But they do have Luka, but we do win game 1, we lose game 2, we win game 3, we lose game 4. Can we take the lead again here? We go up. Can we get this series wrapped? Okay, we get it wrapped. We're going into the second round now against the 5 seed Pelicans with a healed Zion now. So they have 82 McCollum. He's regressing. 88 BI, 94 Zion, and still Valanciunas there. The lineup does look kind of different. Anderson and Precious are hot right now. So when I adjusted the rotation, I took Thibault out because he's shooting just abysmally. So we're going to run this out until we lose a game. Then I'll just have 2K auto adjust the lineup as we win the first game though. We win the second one. We lose the third one, so now time to adjust. Pretty much what I do every time we lose a game or like they come back and I start getting worried, I just come here and rebuild rotation, then it like adjusts it to who the best players are that are playing right now. Can we go up 3-1 on them? We cannot, so they tie the series up. We go up 3-2. Can we win it in 6 again? We cannot. We have game 7. We have to simulate this one with Simcast to get the intensity in there. New Orleans starts off pretty hot, but we're slowly coming back, and we do come back. Going into halftime, we're up. Going into the fourth, they come back though and take the lead. Is it going to be a tight fourth, or are they going to run away with it? It seems like they end up blowing us out in the fourth quarter, and we get upset by the 5 seed Pelicans in the first round. DeJounte honestly doesn't shoot the best from 3, but he had a pretty good game overall. Dame had an efficient scoring game. Cat played pretty well. Precious played well. Jeremy Grant played well. Clint Capella was not getting that many minutes because he wasn't like very hot or wasn't playing the best. It seems like most of our team played well. Their team just played better. Like Zion 41 and 12. Cat has to guard him better. We now have 2 more years to try to get this done, as we do lose to the team that gets out of the West, and they lose it in 7 to the Cavs. I'm hoping DeJounte will be able to bring him back this year, because if not, our roster is going to be significantly worse. We're not going to have any significant picks here. And yeah, it goes to 29 to Chicago, our pick. Luckily, I have Precious on a qualifying, so I should be able to get him back as a backup or even starting big either way. And then I do have to try to bring back DeJounte, who has no offers yet. I'm going to try to get him on a 5-year deal for 31.5, ending at 37.8. Right now, he agrees to it, but 2K always does that cheese where they say it's fine. Then after this, they say I don't have the money to. Okay, we do get him. Now I'm just going to bring Slow-Mo and Precious back, and we should be good. I actually don't have the money to give Precious a full contract, so I have to hope he comes back on the qualifying year, and we actually lose Precious. That is a pretty big L, but I'm sure I can trade some of these younger guys here that I ended up picking up in the draft, like Colby Jones that first year. I got Mookie Cook in the second round this year. So let's start next season and see if I can trade some of those younger pieces for a different backup big, or maybe even include Capella in there and try to hugely upgrade our big man spot, and then not have a backup there. The Raptors, for some reason, are offering me Jakob Poeltl and Daniel Gafford for Capella, Thibault, and Mookie Cook when they're pretty much like a rebuilding team. Jakob is a good scorer and does have pretty good defensive ratings. Same with Gafford. He's a pretty good inside scorer and does have good defensive ratings. So I'd be fine doing this trade, and we get 2 centers here. Jakob could start for us, and then Gafford would be a really solid backup big, as we do get like 2 higher overall guys here to put in our lineup over Capella and Thibault. Well, Capella's 1 overall higher, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. So they should agree to this, and they do. For this second season, we have the same starting 5, except Gafford is going to run it there. Actually, I'm going to swap them out. So Poeltl's going to run it, and then we have Gafford 6th man, DiVincenzo 7th man, Anderson 8th man, Little 9th man. And I'm actually going to give, not Corey Joseph, I don't know why they have Corey Joseph there, Colby Jones some backup minutes here, my young guy, because he's 6'6", he can play the shooting guard position, and he has really good grades already coming into it, like pretty good scorer, good defender. So I kind of want to see what he can do, even though Dame says get rid of all the young pieces that are 2 to 3 years away. Hopefully we can get the championship this year, but if not, we're going to be on a tight clock, or like a final schedule, I guess you would say, to try to win it with Dame. We are at the trade deadline, and right now we're a 9 seed, even though we're 30-25. At this point, I think Colby Jones is already a better player, or gonna be a better player than Nas Little is. So I might move on from Nas Little and then maybe one of these bigs here to try to solidify that spot, like the starting big position. Okay, this makes us a much worse defensive team, but our offense is gonna be absolutely insane, adding Christian Wood and Jaden Hardy to replace Jakob and Nas Little. Why would the Mavericks do this? Jakob Poeltl is a much better defender than Christian Wood, as you can see. Christian Wood's B+ post defense, B+ rebounding. Jakob is A and A+. Then Jaden Hardy is a good scorer that they'd be missing out on, but Nas Little is a little bit older than him and kind of has a bit more experience, like our playoff run we had last year. So hopefully this trade ends up working out for us. I feel like it's a pretty good move to make, and they agree. Now going into the rest of the season, we have a starting 5 of Dame, Murray, Grant, Cat, and Christian Wood, with DiVincenzo, Gafford, Colby Jones, my young guy, and Jaden Hardy, another young guy who Dame doesn't like, also Kyle Anderson. But these guys are playing really well already. Like, look at Jaden Hardy's numbers, look at Colby Jones' numbers. They're playing really good. Let's sim to the end of the year now and hope that gets us into a solidified play-in spot as we lose the first game. Second season is about to wrap. It was hella close in these last couple weeks here, but the trades we made got it done, and we went on a pretty good run, or got a good win streak ahead of us to get the 4 seed. 1 game left against the Suns, and we also win that. So we are the 4 seed. Ja MVP, Bronny Rookie of the Year, Fred 6th man in Utah, Mobley, Depoy, Wembanyama Most Improved, and Dwayne Casey gets Coach of the Year. Here's All-NBA first, All-NBA second, and All-NBA third, so none of our guys. Doubt we get all defensive guys, and yeah, we get none. Do we get Colby Jones here though, or maybe he's not a rookie? Dame still slightly leads the way in scoring here, 22, 3, and 7, shooting 50, 40, 90, like actually this year. Cat has a really good season as well, 21, 8, and 5, shooting almost 50, 40, 87. DeJounte, 19 points, 5 boards, 6 assists, 2 steals a night, 50, 40, 85. Christian Wood came in. He does not have a really good shooting year. I actually want to look at the split stats. So his points, rebounds, and assists all came down since he came here, even his blocks, but his shooting did get better, so I like to see that. Jeremy Grant in less of a role now, does shoot efficiently, or more efficiently, so I like to see that. DiVincenzo still playing insanely well. Jaden Hardy was a great pickup for us at the trade deadline. Gafford was also a great pickup for us, giving us a block a night, shooting really efficiently from the field. And Colby Jones, I would consider him a rookie, playing insanely well, 50, 40, 70. His per 36, he'd be giving us a steal a night, so love to see that. Then Kyle Anderson, our kind of glue guy off the bench, just playing solid all around. We have the 5 seed Houston Rockets now in the first round, who are probably much better at this time with the draft picks they made. And yeah, they have 91 Jalen Green. Jabari's only up to an 85, and it looks like they don't have Şengün there, or he's coming off the bench. So I feel like our lineup is significantly better, and DeJounte should lock down Jalen Green. So we should be good here theoretically, as we win game 1, we win game 2, we win game 3, and we sweep them. So love to see that. Second round, we have the 1 seed Timberwolves. So we traded them Shaedon Sharpe, but it doesn't even look like he's there. And oh no, we traded them Anthony Simons. So that trade, I guess you could say, worked out for both of us. We meet in the second round of the playoffs. They have Amen Thompson 84, Simons in 87 now, 90 Ant, 77 Chris Murray, then still Gobert there at the 5. So Cat and Gobert going head to head. I still feel pretty confident here, but we do lose the first game. We lose the second one too. We cannot go down 3-0 here. Okay, we can't. Can we get 2 games tied up? Okay, we tied up. Can we come back 3-2? We go 3-2. Are we gonna reverse sweep them? Let's go. We reverse sweep the Timberwolves in the second round. They choke it. Cat goes off against his former team, 36, 8, and 6, 2 steals. DeJounte goes off. Dame goes off for a double-double. Christian Wood, huge pickup for us. And we are in the Western Conference Finals going against the 3 seed Sacramento Kings, who have 90 Fox, still 82 Herter, 81 Hunter now, 84 Keegan Murray, and 89 Sabonis. I think I'm actually going to set some defensive matchups here, because I would love to have DeJounte guarding De'Aaron Fox. So we're going to set DeJounte Murray over here on Fox. Then I really don't want to have Christian Wood guarding Sabonis, so I'm going to make sure Cat is guarding him at the 5 or 4, wherever he's playing. I think those little defensive matchups should help us a lot, and I say that and we lose the first game. Okay, we win the second one, we lose the third one, we win the fourth one. It's a back-to-back series. We win the 5th one. Can we go to the finals? Let's go. We go to the finals. Cat is your Western Conference Finals MVP, putting up 26, 8, and 6, a steal a night, shooting 53, 46, And we have the Cavs in the finals, who are an insanely good team. 93 Garland, 93 Mitchell. They got Kawhi. So 87 Kawhi to lock up Jeremy Grant, 93 Mobley to lock up Christian Wood, and 88 Jarrett Allen, who's going to lock up Karl Anthony Towns. I'm going to keep it a buck. I do not feel confident about this. I feel like they just exploit us all over the floor. As I say that, and we win the first game though, we lose the second one, we lose the third one, we lose the fourth one, and I think this is going to be it. Okay, we get one back. Can we take this to a game 7? We cannot. We lose in 6 games to the Cavs, who just like have a god squad, honestly, at this point. Yeah, like I said, Jarrett Allen locked up Cat. He had a terrible shooting night. Donovan locked up DeJounte. Darius locked up Dame. Kawhi kind of locked up Jeremy Grant. And then like our bench guys just cannot get it done. We have one last year here to see what we can do. I honestly don't know what other moves I can make at this point to make the team better. Chauncey did just get us to the finals, but I think adding a better head coach like with better ratings would be huge for us. So I'm going to give Nick Nurse a max. I'll also give that same offer to Ty Lue, and if I can't get either of them, I'll bring him Chauncey back. And Nick Nurse does agree. I think I would rather have him over Ty Lue, so I'm going to accept him. We ended up having the 23rd overall pick this year, and I didn't even realize it. I thought I traded them all away. So we got this guy Carter Knox, who seems pretty solid. I do have Jaden Hardy and Colby Jones on qualifying though, so hopefully I can get both of those guys back without any issues. I do have to re-sign DiVincenzo though, so hopefully he can come back on this team-friendly deal. We do get him back, and once again, I don't have actual money to give these guys contracts, so I need them to come back on the qualifying. Are they going to be able to? Wow, do we not get either of them? We don't get either of them back. So we're gonna have to run a tight 8-man rotation out here, and Dame's under a 90 now, so I think it's gonna be really tough to make it in this last season. Let's see if we can still do it. Here's our final lineup going into the last season. Lillard, Murray, Grant, Wood, and Cat at the starting positions, and then DiVincenzo, Gafford, and Kyle Anderson rounding it off. At the trade deadline though, I will look to see to make some moves, but I don't know if I really have the assets to hugely upgrade realistically now. We have a 4-star balanced system with Nick Nurse. I could also run 7 seconds out, but I kind of want to try balance out and see how it works. Let's sim to the trade deadline, or at the end of the year I'll stop if I can't find any moves that work, as so far we're kind of like a mid team. We are at the trade deadline, and our team is extremely bad. As you can see right here, Jeremy Grant having a terrible season. Same with Christian Wood, shooting the ball like terrible from 3. Honestly, worse than he did last year. So the Kings would be kind enough to offer me up Keegan Murray, who's shooting pretty well. Same with Chris Middleton, to highly upgrade our small forward, power forward depth just for an extra first-round pick. So I'm going to do this trade with them, and they agree. So our new lineup's going to be Dame, DeJounte, Chris Middleton, Keegan Murray, and Cat, with DiVincenzo, Gafford, and Kyle Anderson to round it off. We're 23-35, as you can see in the bottom left, and we're the worst team in the West, so we really kind of need a miracle to come back in the second half of the season here. Yeah, this team's dead, man. Here you can take a look at some of the awards if you want to stop and take a look at them. I don't really care too much about them right now. Highly doubt we get anyone on any All-NBA teams or defensive teams here, as actually we do get DeJounte, so I don't think he had 2 steals a night. He probably played decent defense, but as a team, I don't think we deserved anything. We did not even make the playoffs. I'll look at the standings after this to see exactly where we ended up leaving off, but like I knew we were just a horrible team, as you have the Rockets and Pistons in the finals now, so the young team is going to come up, and the Rockets win it with Jalen Green as the finals MVP. So we ended up as the worst team in the West, and we were not the worst team in the league though. I kind of knew after like 2 years it would be really hard to win, as Dame is now 35 years old and like kind of regressing. He's still shooting very well himself, but on the defensive end, he's probably a huge liability. And yeah, he's a B- below position average, which he probably usually is, but he's probably worse than he was originally. Cat also had an off year, which kind of, well, definitely attributed to us losing a bunch more games. But like the 2 guys, Christian Wood and Jeremy Grant, were the main reasons our season was off to a terrible start. Like even the bench guys, Dante didn't play the best, and then Kyle Anderson, honestly, still played pretty decent. So at this point, if you're Portland, Dame is on a 1-year deal. After 3 years, he has a player option. He will probably accept it. Doubt you'll be able to trade him. So was it worth it? You got to 1 finals. I don't know. Personally, if the Trailblazers at least got a championship, I would say not blowing up the team and still building around Dame for a couple more years would have been worth it. But like we lost in the finals, and I feel like that just doesn't make it worth it. Do you think the Blazers should trade Dame and rebuild with Sharp and Simons, or trade Sharp and Simons and try to build around Dame like I did here? Let me know down in the comments below and why. Me personally, I would say trade Dame now, as like the situation there is getting kind of iffy, and you've seen what Shaedon Sharpe can do. Anthony Simons has had really good flashes as well. But yeah, I doubt they do that though. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe. Comment down below about anything you thought along with the question I asked. Hope you're all doing well. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.